What is going on, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about 9, yes 9, not 10, but 9 things that you can do whenever you get to your first duty station that will impress them. Alright, so by far my most popular, most viewed video on YouTube is 5 things that you can do to impress your drill sergeants. And I guess if you guys like this one, then we can do this one too, which is 9 things that you can do to impress your first duty station, which is honestly going to be more beneficial to your career, because if you impress your drill sergeants, you might be doing a little bit better at basic training or whatever, but impressing the leadership at your first duty station, impressing the NCOs, your peers, people like that at your first duty station, doing that is actually going to have a more positive impact on your overall military career. Now, saying that, I don't want to put too much pressure on y'all to make like a really good first impression or something, or if you make a bad first impression, you're like, oh crap, now my whole career is ruined because Matt Ward said that this is really important. So don't think about it like that, because the first thing that you may already know about, that I've talked about, that you can do to impress your first duty station is have a 300 PT score. Now with the ACFT, there's a potential of a 600 PT score, so I can't really say I have a 600 PT score because I think only like a couple of people have even attained that, if that, so that's a really high bar to achieve. Whereas with the APFT, getting a 300 was definitely something attainable right out of AIT. But have the best PT score that you possibly can. Do not aim for the low bar that the ACFT sets. Make sure you're pushing yourself when you're in training so that whenever you get to your first duty station, you are actually in really good shape, the best shape that you've been in your entire life whenever you get there. So number 1, and by far this is this is number 1 for a reason. Be in the best possible shape that you can be in when you get to your first duty station, because nothing really looks worse, in my opinion and in a lot of other people's opinions, than a soldier straight out of AIT who can barely pass a PT test. So thing number 2 that you can do whenever you get to your first duty station is win a board. Win a Soldier of the Month board, Soldier of the Quarter board, Soldier of the Year board. Win a board. So what you're gonna do whenever you get there is, honestly, like something like I did whenever I got to my first unit, is ask them, hey, when's the first board? When can I do something like this? That, point number 2 and point number 3 I'm gonna cover in just a minute. When can I do this? When's the next event, Soldier of the Year board? When is the next one coming up? Because I would like to compete in that board. So number 1, that's going to impress them just straight out the gate. You're really hula, you're really, you're ready to go. You want to compete in this board. So that's gonna impress them just a little bit, and it will impress them even more if you actually win the board. So make sure you study your butt off so you actually win that board, because you can get some, like an Army Achievement Medal or something like that. Or if you want to go to airborne school, again, I preach all the time, if you want to go to airborne school and you don't have your contract, winning boards and winning point number 3, best warrior competitions, that is how you're going to do it. So just like asking about Soldier of the whatever boards, best warrior competition, as soon as you get there, you might want to be asking about when the next best warrior competition is going to come around, and you want to compete in that. So if you're at the company level or something, you may have to compete at the company level, and then go up to the battalion, all that. Again, it is going to impress the higher ups. It's going to impress some people in your unit, just for the sheer fact that you're motivated enough to actually go for this best warrior competition, because it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world. It's not just like a walk in the park. You're actually, putting everything that you know as a soldier kind of out there. You're competing against other soldiers on all your warrior tasks and battle drills, your knowledge of military tactics, your knowledge of just military doctrine, how you carry yourself as a soldier. There's gonna be a lot of things, your physical fitness. There's gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be covered in a best warrior competition. So again, it's gonna impress them a little bit just to actually throw your hat in the ring to try and compete in the best warrior competition. It's going to impress them even more if you win the best warrior competition and then keep winning, because the way it works is you got the way it should work is you have the company level best warrior, then battalion, then brigade, and then it keeps going up the ladder until you get to the person who wins the overall army. So the number 4 thing that you can do whenever you get to your first duty station is something that you've done prior to. So when you're at AIT, make sure you're learning your stuff, because when you get to your unit, number 4 is know your stuff. Again, there's really not much worse than somebody getting to their first duty station. You've been MOS qualified in a specific MOS, and turns out you really don't know that much. You were sleeping in the classes, you don't really have that much knowledge. You're always asking a whole bunch of like questions that you should definitely know. Like, you should know this. Don't be that person. Make sure you know your stuff. You don't have to be like the best expert or whatever in the world in that MOS, but make sure you know your stuff and you don't come out of AIT just kind of skidding by, you know, barely making it. And tip number 5 that kind of has to do with that is make sure whether you know your stuff or you don't know your stuff, be eager to learn and be eager to get some additional training, okay? So if you're in an MOS where there's a bunch of like certificates and things that you may need to get, make sure you're volunteering for that. Make sure you're being like, hey, you know, whoever, go up the chain of command, so squad leader, platoon leader, you know, all that stuff, or platoon sergeant for a lot of you enlisted guys, and then go to platoon leader. Anyways, so make sure you're going up the chain of command asking about these different schools and things that you can go to as far as getting certifications for training. And also, whenever things are going on around the unit, make sure you're eager to learn. If some people are over in just another area of the unit, okay, they're working on some equipment, they're doing something, don't just kind of be sitting there twiddling your thumbs doing nothing. Go over there and actually try to learn, try to figure things out, work with them, be like, hey, you know, why are you doing that? What's this? You know, just ask some questions, be eager to learn, and that's gonna really, honestly, that's gonna look good on you. Now here's something that personally, that I think would not necessarily impress me a whole lot. I guess it will impress me just a little bit, not so much as like 1, 2, 3, 4, those kind of points, but something that would make me not impressed with your work ethic and things like that, and just how motivated you are. And that is whenever somebody asks for help, whenever your leadership says, hey, we need some people to do something, and it's not just, you know, like taking out the trash or whatever, but it's actually just doing some additional training. You know, maybe you're in the S6, you know, you need to help set up the projector or something like that. You need to go and make sure some kind of technological thing is working, and you have somebody in leadership like myself being like, hey, I need somebody, I need 2 people, I need 1 person to go and do this specific task. And then you got a bunch of people that are just kind of looking around, be like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. Don't be that person. Be that person, be like, yeah, I'll go do it. You don't have to be the most excited person in the world to do it, but don't be that guy that when your leadership asks for help, whenever they need somebody to do something, that's, again, it's okay to be like, I don't want to take out the trash. But if it's something legitimate, if it's related to your MOS, okay, related to your MOS, and you're like begrudgingly not really wanting to volunteer to do that task, that's not going to impress anybody. But it will kind of impress them if you're always that guy that your leadership can rely on to get things done. To when, you know, they need a task to be accomplished, they can ask you. And they know that private whoever is going to actually be willing to do this. They're going to do it to the best of their ability, and they're not going to complain about it. So be willing to help is tip number 6. And tip number 7 is be responsible, okay? So this may seem just super simple, but a lot of people just straight out of training, you may be a younger person, you may be a little bit immature, you may be like, oh my gosh, I got all this freedom in the world. Be responsible. Please be responsible. And I'm sure y'all know what the word responsible means, so I'm not gonna say, you know, oh, make sure you're doing this, that, and the other. Just be responsible when you get to your first duty station. Don't be irresponsible and be doing all this crap, doing all this immature stuff, because it's not going to look good on you. So just be that steady, responsible soldier who doesn't get Article 15. And we're almost finished, but tip number 8, right place, right time, right uniform. All those 3 things put together is going to look good. It's a little bit more beyond just being responsible and doing things on your own end, but right place, right time, right uniform, you might be like, okay, that's really stupid. Shouldn't I do that all the time? And the answer is yes, but not everybody does. Some people literally might show up in the wrong uniform. Some people might show up to the wrong place. Some people might show up at the wrong time because they're maybe lazy. They're maybe not checking their phones regularly or something. If you know an event is coming up, make sure you're checking your phone, make sure that you are staying up to date just in case anything has changed last minute, because that is something that happens a lot. You might have a certain place to go, and then that place has changed last minute. That sucks that that happened, but at the same time, make sure you're on the ball, and so that you know that that happens, so you don't drive potentially miles out of the way, and then now you're in the wrong place, and when you get to the right place, now you're there at the wrong time. Now hopefully if they have some crazy situation like that where they change the place or time or something, hopefully you will be not the only one to mess up, but at the same time, don't make that a reoccurring thing where you're at the wrong place, wrong time, wrong uniform kind of thing. And the 9th and final thing that I want to make for this video anyways, that you could do to impress the leadership, impress the people at your unit, is actually introducing yourself. Not coming into the unit and then just hiding over in a corner, okay? You're not in training anymore, you're not in basic training, you're not in AIT. The goal is not to fly under the radar and not have your leadership know your name and not have them be like, oh gosh, I didn't know that you came to this unit, and you're like, yeah, I've been here for like 2 months. Don't let that be you. Actually introduce yourself to the leadership. So you should have some sort of like sponsor or something, somebody kind of like showing you around, showing you the ropes, things like that whenever you first get to your unit. But ultimately, make sure you're, introducing yourself to your platoon sergeant, platoon leader, your company first sergeant, your company commander, things like that. If you're in like in a battalion level unit, this is your chance to actually introduce yourself to those higher ups. Be like, hey, just want to introduce myself. I'm private so-and-so, I'm specialist so-and-so, and I'm really eager and excited to be a part of this unit, and I just wanted to introduce myself. Just whatever you got to do, just introduce yourself, and that is going to go a long ways. Because you got to keep in mind that those leaders are going to be the ones that are signing off for you to do all the cool stuff, okay? So if you are wanting to go to, common example, airborne school, and somebody's got to sign off for that. Somebody's got to approve you to actually go to that, because that's not something, unless you're in a specific unit, that's not something that's like mandatory for you to actually go do. And so even if the only time that you've ever talked to the leadership who was going to sign off on that was that first time that you introduced yourself to them, if that was like a positive experience, then they're going to have that positive experience for you, your name, whatever. They're like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. They seem like a good soldier, and yes, I approve this. So now I'm not saying to like go and like suck up to the leadership. Just make sure you're being responsible, right place, right time, right uniform. Introduce yourself to them so that they actually know who you are. So that whenever your name comes across their desk, they're not like, who in the world is this person? So that is gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to stick on some more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. That would be even better. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you haven't already. Hope you guys have an amazing freaking day. Have a great time at your first duty station, because I'm sure there's gonna be some people watching this video right now. Do good, do these things. You're gonna be great. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all later.